All right, so we cut this image in half, so you're going to pick which side that you would like to use. So I'm thinking I like this much better. So one of the things that you're going to do, seeing as the images are both quite different, not only the person but also the quality of the image. This is done in a studio, very high resolution. This was taken in school with subpar lighting, with subpar kind of camera. But we're going to fix this up a bit so it kind of sort of matches a little bit. Maybe it'll increase the crispness of the image a bit, and some of you guys, it might seem a little darker, and the colors might not be as vivid. So we're going to use a process called levels. Now, the old school way of getting to levels would be to go to Image, Adjustments, and Levels. And you can see here's the shortcut, Command L. So if you hit Command and the letter L, what that does is it allows you to go to levels. You want to make sure you are on the correct layer. That layer that you want to change is active. So it might look like there's a lot of stuff going on here, but the only thing you have to worry about is this particular kind of mountain thing going over here. This you have the darks and you have the lights and you have all the colors in between, or the values in between. So if we start moving these arrows underneath and kind of push them a little closer together, you'll see that the levels, it'll be much higher in contrast. If you take this middle bar and you drag it to the right, it gets darker. You drag it to the left, it gets lighter. So you're just going to do slight variations here. Not that you're trying to match the picture, but you're just trying to make it look a little bit more crisp and nicely defined. So you can see once you start playing around with it, if you hit preview, uncheck it, you can see it's just making it a little bit more sharper and kind of messing with the contrast. So once you're satisfied with it, you say OK. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flatten this image. This is going to get rid of this layer 2 here, and you're only going to be left with these two. And it's going to flatten it where you won't be able to make any changes. What you might want to do is save this as a PSD before you do this, because if you save it as a PSD, what it'll allow you to do is, if you want to make any changes to the project, I'm going to call it split. And notice it saves it as a PSD, Photoshop, and it's going to keep the layers, which is good. And then just say OK to that. Because if you change your mind, if you go back and you're like, oh, I like the way this is cropped, but I think I want to try again with the picture, I can have this, and then I can open up my the picture of my face, and again, the version that's not split in 2 pieces, and then I can go back and try the things again. But if I didn't do that and I just went ahead and flattened it, what it'll do is it'll make it so it's an image that you cannot change. You can see it's all glued together. All right. This you want to save. Call it alter ego. This you want to save as a JPEG. So you go up here, and where you go to Format, JPEG. Because you're not going to have any layers anyway. Okay. By saving it as a JPEG, it makes it a little easier to manipulate. If it's a PSD, it's a lot more data. And you don't need the layers anyway. The layers are gone, so you might as well save it as a JPEG.